Welcome to Supply Chain Partners TV and podcast, where we discuss innovative solutions delivered by our members at Supply Chain Partners. Our members can help you to build a high-performing business and supply chain. I'm Dr. Sharyn Grant, the founder of Supply Chain Partners. I've worked in the logistics and supply chain management field for over 20 years, and I specialise in strategic supply chain performance management. Let's now introduce you to our member. With us today is Jeff Warren, the CEO of Vueterra. Vueterra specialise in business and supply chain optimisation for mining, manufacturing and government industries. They help organisations to implement and improve enterprise resource planning systems, also known as ERP systems, for high operational output, as well as operational supply chain consulting, business intelligence reporting and analytics. Welcome, Jeff. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Sharyn. It's great to be here.
Today's episode is about getting more value from your ERP system. When organizations implement their ERP system, they have big expectations regarding how their ERP will support their company. Jeff, can you please explain what an ERP system is and what benefits can be achieved by implementing an ERP system?
Essentially, an enterprise resource planning tool, it's a business management software. It enables organizations to use one system across their whole enterprise to manage business processes and transact from one database as a master source of that enterprise information. That's the official title for it anyway. ERPs do a really great job of allowing users to complete only the work that they're allowed to across every department in the enterprise. Say, like planning the enterprise resources and then capturing that work on a digital transaction, which utilizes the data we enter into the database to speed up the processes rather than the users typing it out all the time. You can find an ERP in every department, which allows the users to do their precise job in a specific way, which we call functionality. Most notably finance, who need to manage money traveling through large organizations. When functionality and transactions combine, the user can spend the money for goods and services, move the money into specific finance accounts called cost centers. These cost centers then centralize the money spent across the organization, and then we can report which department has spent the most money or which asset consumes the most goods and services. The transactions move the money and allow sub-departments like accounts payable to pay suppliers. There are many more modules in the ERP system: sales, HR, manufacturing, logistics. However, Vueterra focus on improving the data and the functionality and the people interaction, mind you, with the system so that the user can get the specific task completed faster. For leaders who operate at the other end, we set it up so that they can visualize the transactional footprints in the ERP. And that shows leaders what is working and what isn't, especially when there's data that doesn't allow the user to complete their work fast enough. You know, there's a couple of big benefits using the ERP system. And I guess the biggest one, it is the source of the truth. There is one, and it needs to be the ERP. And I'm going to come back to that later in this. Increasing efficiency, enhanced business reporting, better customer service, inventory costs, cash flow, improving those and optimizing them. All in all, when it comes down to it, Vueterra is very focused in that supply chain management and also the maintenance space, having those intersect where they should be and provide value back to the company that has the ERP system.
Thanks, Jeff. You have identified many benefits of an ERP system, and it's easy to see why organizations have big expectations of their ERP system. Now, implementing an ERP system is a significant investment in time and money, and receiving a return on investment through these benefits is paramount. Jeff, if an ERP implementation doesn't achieve its expected benefits, is that considered an ERP implementation failure?
Normally, yes. The impact is large. As the software stretches right across the enterprise, the ripple effect is large and usually really expensive. It usually costs millions to implement an ERP and then to suffer operational losses, generally in the millions after it's switched on, due to not allowing its users to perform their role, is immense and excruciating. The best implementations are usually the ones defined as boring. When you switch the ERP on and release it to the users on the first first day. The data should support the functionality. The functionality needs to be simple and supports the users in their roles. And the user knows how to generate the transaction effectively to do their job. Users then support decision makers by transacting in the ERP so that their digital footprints can be analysed and the improvements then decided upon. The implementation project may be a failure. However, the system cannot be allowed to fail, as that would be absolutely catastrophic for the company.
Thanks, Jeff. What can cause an ERP system implementation to fail?
I have a list. Business process analysis. Knowledge of the work that the ERP is supposed to help with is not fully understood. And then the functionality can't be matched. And the data as well doesn't support that functionality to support the user. Huge. Complex functionality. This is one of my biggest bugbears. An overcompensating functional consultant may throw too many steps in or shiny functions into the ERP that are not needed. This makes the work more difficult to complete for the end user. Things like that can be trained, but knowledge retention is usually low. And this is why things must be simple on day one. Data conversion, another one. We play a lot in data at Vueterra, and data is difficult. You need to move it, especially migration, because you need to move it, prepare it for the new system by translating the old data, which it may work in the old ERP, but in the new system, it's like another language. The data needs to be translated and aligned to match the desired functionality of the new system. Integrations. Been on too many projects where integrations really fail. This is where the ERP system talks between another third-party system. We should try so hard not to do this. This is why we have an ERP system. It should stretch across the enterprise. But we still do it due to the business reasons like compliance, for example. The integrations can cause havoc during the data transfer as the systems don't talk to each other properly. And the data which is passed between the systems can fire the wrong functionality and cause all sorts of issues. Another huge thing that I see relates to the C-suite and senior leadership. New ERP means new ways of working, and during that change, leadership is crucial. The way you worked before is not the way the company does it now. As a senior leader or in the C-suite, being engaged for more than just a sales pitch is a must. Training. You can only do so much training until users become unresponsive. It requires a journey and effective change management, more than just posters or a couple of emails that we send out every week. It's not going to solve the problem. Get out with the future users, listen to what they have to say, take it back to the functional consultants and business analysts, and make sure that what old processes are being changed by the new ERP is fit for purpose and not later resented by the end users. Another is project plan. What has not been said before about project management on any project? One of the biggest issues I've seen is miscommunications from PMs to senior leadership and C-suite. Look, the PM needs to be a strong individual who isn't afraid to take bad news to them. If this doesn't happen, the company think they're getting one thing, and upon go live, they actually get something else that they didn't want. We've been on a lot of projects where we fight with old workarounds. It may have worked in the old system. Mark my words, there are users out there with their old workarounds ready to test them in the new system. The workarounds can be supply data, help in spreadsheets that they use instead of uploading the data into the ERP system. If this is occurring, you best be working closely with suppliers to align your data to theirs, as procurement will stop on day one. Essentially, you need to send out like a data amnesty or a workaround amnesty on the first day or well ahead of go live date. My last one is customization. Sometimes they can be the worst idea. When done right, they are small and offer huge return on investment. When done wrong, a customization will ruin the whole fluid operation of an ERP and also cost you a lot to manage in the future. If they break in the future and there is no documentation, it can take you weeks to fix.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that Vueterra has a comprehensive approach to ERP implementation, which also includes change management support and post-implementation support, system maintenance and improvement. So from your extensive experience with implementing, supporting and improving ERP systems, what can prevent an organisation from maximising value from their ERP system?
Decision makers, they're sometimes sold all the shiny functionality that has no place in their business. Simplicity is the key on day one of go live. A boring implementation allows you to move forward on day one to start identifying the next biggest upgrade to improve your output. The inverse of this would be that you spend the next year trying to fix the data, the functionality, and retrain users after they don't want anything to do with the new ERP system. Let me be clear about this. Bad implementations break company morale. Decision makers do not understand data or tables. That's not your bag. They understand pictures that show them the size of the problem and what the data or the functionality is preventing. For any analyst out there, get that right. And your senior leadership will listen to you and will provide action. Data extraction analysis takes days to weeks. It's labor intensive. And by the time the data is delivered, it's usually obsolete. Please speak to me if you want to get this down to at least 5 minutes and do it repetitively. Users still want to operate using workarounds. Just do it the way that the company wants you to do it. Give them the data, give them your knowledge, put it in the ERP system. It will make your life so much easier. If you have a better way of doing something in the system, document it and pass it on to leadership for endorsement with the benefit that you hope to receive out of it. That's what they're looking for from every person or every user of the ERP system.
Thanks, Jeff. You have identified many significant issues. What can an organisation do to get more value out of their ERP system?
Firstly, choose the right ERP and think critically about the ongoing maintenance and management of all aspects of data management, training, recruiting, technical support, OEM support model, technical development, future business maturity versus ERP maturity. It's all relevant as it could cost you buckets of cash in the future if you are overspec and are sold by a dream. Think about ERP implementation as a journey rather than trying to fit all the shiny things in on day one. Move in controlled steps to minimize the impact on your customers and staff. Doing this will make sure on day one you can still get paid by customers and produce a service to your internal and external customers. The journey continues after implementation. Utilize the business analyst to seek out the future improvement and lay it into the company's 5-year plan. Data, data, data. I've said this before, that data assists that functionality and helps staff to create those transactions easily. Data needs to be prioritized from day -100 and from day 0 so that all your company knowledge sits in the ERP, that one source of truth, rather than your users' heads or their spreadsheets that they're using for their workarounds. When the data is in the ERP, and it's got to be right as well, its value is multiplied across the whole organization as everyone can pull on the data easily rather than trying to push every process to completion. Having the executive or the senior manager at least understand the 10,000-foot version of the ERP and the way the bigger cogs mesh is so important. They don't care about the ones and the zeros, they care about the wider impact to the organization. It's the user's job to care about the ones and zeros. Here's another one, business intelligence. It's the key to understanding ERP performance. Those digital footprints and the supporting data needs to be visualized to understand what is going right and what's going wrong. How do we improve it? As another member of Supply Chain Partners, Tim McLean from Missing Links has this motto from years back: you cannot improve what you do not measure. It's sat with me for years. Also, my last point here is listen to the users of the ERP. Change management never stops. Change management can be done really well, but it takes an enormous effort. Elevate those change roles in your organization. Connect them with the right technical and data specialists. The change role is the sounding board for the operation, and the technical and data specialists need to park the ego and listen to these people.
Thanks, Jeff. I'm keen to discuss how Vueterra has helped its clients to maximize value from their ERP systems. Firstly, Jeff, could you please explain which ERP systems you help your clients with?
We focus on delivering solutions to SAP, Pronto, and Microsoft Dynamics 365 clients. We implement, improve, and manage these ERP systems in line with the operational needs of our clients, based on our first-hand expertise. Our consultants are also acquainted with mining, manufacturing, and government industries and the demanding requirements of each.
Thanks, Jeff. Could you please provide 1 or 2 real-life client examples how Vueterra has helped its clients to get more value from their ERP systems?
I think the first two that spring to mind, we had a client who had just done a data migration and go live in SAP S/4HANA. They cut over from a totally different ERP system and found that on the first day, lo and behold, they weren't able to even cut purchase orders. The data was so wrong. The data was misaligned. They had a lot of workarounds going on, and you can kind of see where this was going. What they wanted from us was essentially to get their business going again. Their procurement, the whole P2P, procure to pay process, had shut down. What we were pulled in to do is understand the data and those layers underneath the functionality that were impacting that P2P process from really delivering value. What we found after looking further, we found that the whole commercial data suite that they had sitting in SAP was wrong. It was deficient of all the important information. They were unaware of just the pricing and, the units of measure and all those sorts of things that they were meant to know to transact with their suppliers. So what we ended up doing was we took all the commercial data and we developed a program where we would bite the data down for each supplier and then put it into templates and then send it out to the suppliers. Then spend one-on-one time with each supplier to get them to understand what data they needed to populate against which material so that we could get that information back, put it through our automated data workflows. This is where we would analyze all the issues against their current ERP system. We would then create a whole traffic light system for them so they could understand every detail. I think we aggregated it to 7 different traffic lights where is the unit of measure wrong? Is the price wrong? Have we got valid records? Have they run past their validity? We were able to put this in a format the decision makers could understand, and we went about cleansing the data. And another major milestone on that project was that we were actually in competition with a much larger organization, and we were able to pull on some of those things that make Vueterra very unique with our automated data workflows and our consultants that helped us jump ahead. We were able to close out the project with a higher percentage of data that was cleaned to the absolute expectation of the client, which over the course of 1 to 2 weeks, they went from 0 to around 22% PO automation. That is staggering. And we were able to do that with, again, what makes Vueterra unique. The other product that I would like to cover off on is our on-demand enterprise intelligence software, which we've taken all of our knowledge as consultants, and we understand that the ERP is such a demanding place, especially around data. SAP is a spider's web when it comes to tables and data and where it all sits and how it all connects together. And we've done all the hard work now. So we spent a lot of time and a lot of capital ripping down that SAP material master and trying to visualize it, put in a visualization that helps decision makers understand where the issues are, how big the problem is, and essentially, and most importantly, how long it's going to take to fix it.
Thanks, Jeff. They're excellent examples. What would be a key lesson you have learned that could help your future clients?
If there's a company that's already done the work, copy it. Essentially, go and copy it, because sometimes it does not pay to remake the wheel each time. We need to become more agile as supply chain leaders to deliver value to our front-end users quickly.
Thanks, Jeff. That's a valuable key lesson. Let's now talk about Vueterra Ondemand. Using your Vueterra Ondemand service, your clients have been able to go from basic reporting to advanced reporting overnight. This is incredibly exciting. Jeff, could you please explain how your Vueterra Ondemand service works?
We connect directly to SAP. We have access to all the data in the tables, as long as the permissions allow us, of course, to connect directly to that data, extract it and transform it, and load it to our visualization software. We are supply chain professionals. We are finding ourselves more and more in the maintenance space, trying to understand our customer. We're getting to the point now where we are overlaying the maintenance data with the supply chain data. Let's take, for example, warehouse returns. Yes, we want to know how many warehouse returns are coming back, but if we can understand which planner group is affecting that, then we can go and have a bit of a chat to these guys and say, hey, what's going on here? It really leads us down the right path to ask the right questions. On our executive leadership dashboard, we now are focusing on such things as planning horizons. So are the planners planning to the lead time of the materials? So we're providing advanced analytics around these items now, where we can see which planner groups are forcing materials into the plan, 1 to 2 weeks out, where we don't have enough lead time on these materials in the first place. So as we go forward in our inventory suite, we will tear down everything that is taskless strategy, everything on the maintenance side, to understand what materials are being forecasted into the future and start to make the supply chain far more agile to support maintenance teams. Currently, the dashboard suite is doing a fantastic job in ripping down what is material master information for materials. We have got everything mapped when it comes to PIRs, source lists, outline agreements, the whole lot, back to the material. We can show, instead of that old adage of you have dirty data, which I struggle with because it actually means nothing to me. We're actually providing analytics now to show, out of the 10,000 SKUs that you have in your system, how many of the intersecting records that relate back to that material are deficient, are wrong, have issues, and will prevent the P2P process from happening in a fluid way. So as we get on, we can start to visualize the larger areas of concerns. Let's say it's the PIRs. The PIRs are past their validity dates, that you've got a whole heap of 1 cent and $0 PIRs. We can start to visualize how big that issue is and really go forward with your leadership team to understand what they can do quickly to get it solved.
Thanks, Jeff. Your monthly subscription model is brilliant. Could you please explain your subscription plans?
Our plans are based upon a per business unit basis and covers multiple plants and storage locations. And for the diehard SAP people out there, we could definitely get down to MRP area level too. We have 3 tiers: the starter, the focused, and the executive. At the starter, we focus on connecting to the system, providing the base reports and the templates, a fortnightly data refresh, and we've also accounted for 2.5 hours of weekly maintenance in that plan as well. The focus takes everything from the starter. Then we start to get more into the focus reporting suite. We've got a weekly data refresh that goes along with that. We're working on our advanced dashboard suites as well, which will be added into this focus tier. 5 hours a week with weekly support, maintenance, and development. And after that, we generally do a development by per hour basis. We do, at the end of each month, we sit down with the decision makers. We show them the trends that we're seeing, the problem areas, and we supply the metric review each month. We do onboarding consult sessions, and we've also got our help desk support as well. The last one, the executive, it's the gold plating, of course, everything above. We also get into the executive reporting suite, custom reporting schedules. You've got 10 hours a week of support, maintenance, and development. We also do weekly metric review and reporting for our clients, priority help desk support, a dedicated analyst just for your company. And we also do embedded website reports that can dovetail straight into SharePoint.
Thanks, Jeff. That's a comprehensive service offering. What results can your clients expect to see from your Vueterra Ondemand service?
Well, firstly, it's all of our combined knowledge in one area. It's ready to go. There's no hiring, nothing like that. It's all ready to go, packaged, and as the name says, it's on demand. It cuts your time. It negates the whole project where you need to go and set up capital budgets and all those sorts of things. We've got it already done for you. Ultimately, the results, we want to save you time and labor on all that reporting. So we're not talking about days, and we're not talking about weeks or months. We can generally run our workflows and deliver data in 5 minutes. We want to improve the decision-making quality. We want standardized reports that leadership can gravitate to on the daily. We want to generate cohesion across the supply chain functions with our maintenance brothers and sisters. That's one thing that in my past experience around being an inventory planner, it's been a huge thing to do. So we want to focus on that as well. We want to get on the front foot with issues before they snowball. In our mind, we want to start being prescriptive about where we are in our supply chains. And we want to generate the right conversations with our maintenance team so that it's none of this he said, she said, anything like that anymore. It's just data-driven decision-making with the right conversations occurring. So yeah, like I said before, no need for internal BI resources or long projects, 0 software license costs. We have done it all already. We've got the pre-configured ERP integrations, and all of our dashboards are already pre-configured, and we're already looking at it from our end.
Thanks, Jeff. Your Vueterra On-Demand service and subscription model is an excellent way for your clients to access your expertise and technology to help your clients get more value from their ERP systems. What are the next steps a client should take should they like to commence this service?
We welcome them to book a demo through our website to see our Vueterra On-Demand service in action and discuss our pricing options. Alternatively, we can provide demonstrations around inventory analytics, master data, warehouse analytics, and also understanding the maintenance analytics as well. Our phone number and email address are on our website, which is vueterra.com.au. They are also welcome to email us.
Excellent. Thanks, Jeff. Your Vueterra On-Demand service is definitely an excellent way to save time, effort, and cost on supply chain reporting. Well, thank you very much, Jeff, for joining us today from Vueterra.
Thank you so much, Sharyn, for your time and getting to know us a little bit further.
Thanks, Jeff. Well, that concludes today's episode about getting more value from your ERP system with Vueterra. You will find all of their contact details listed below. So join us again at Supply Chain Partners TV and podcast, where we meet with our expert supplier members to discuss key business and supply chain issues, topics and trends, including logistics, supply chain management, technology, and much more. Be sure to click the subscribe button to this Supply Chain Partners channel. We look forward to you joining us again in a future episode.